Congregation Bible Study, September 8th to 14, 2025 analysis with question and answer. Let's start by answering the questions from the paragraphs. Let's begin by analyzing. Lesson 16, Who was Job? We now answer the following questions. How did Satan test Job? Satan tested Job by bringing a series of disasters into his life. First, he caused the Sabeans to steal Job's cattle and donkeys. Then, a fire destroyed all his sheep, and the Chaldeans stole his camels. These attacks also led to the death of many of Job's servants. The worst tragedy came when all of Job's children died in a house collapse. Still not satisfied, Satan struck Job with painful sores all over his body. Through all of this, Job remained faithful to Jehovah and continued worshiping him. Let's move on to the next question. How did Jehovah reward Job? Jehovah rewarded Job by restoring his health and giving him even more than he had before. After Job proved faithful under test, Jehovah blessed him with greater riches, a new family, and a long and happy life. Job's endurance and loyalty brought him Jehovah's approval and lasting blessings. Let's move on to the next question. What does this teach us about Jehovah? This account teaches us that Jehovah is confident in the faithfulness of those who love him. He allows tests, not to harm us, but to prove our loyalty and to silence Satan's accusations. It also shows that Jehovah is always watching, that he cares deeply about our endurance, and that he blesses those who remain faithful. Even when we don't understand why something is happening, Jehovah remains just, wise, and loving. In the end, he rewards those who trust in him. Next question. What practical lessons can we learn? We learn that serving Jehovah faithfully does not mean we will never face problems. Like Job, we may go through trials that we do not fully understand, but we must continue trusting in Jehovah. His view is higher than ours, and he sees the bigger picture. We also learn that Satan is trying to break our loyalty to God, but with Jehovah's help, we can remain faithful. Finally, Job's example shows that Jehovah notices our endurance and will reward those who stay loyal to him, no matter what difficulties they face. Now we move on to the analysis of Lesson 17. Moses chose to worship Jehovah. First question. How were the Israelites treated in Egypt? The Israelites were treated very harshly in Egypt. After a new Pharaoh came to power, he became afraid that the Israelites were growing too numerous and powerful. To control them, he made them slaves and forced them to make bricks and work hard in the fields. Despite the heavy labor, the Israelite population continued to grow. In response, Pharaoh gave a cruel order that all newborn Israelite boys should be killed. This created great fear among the Israelites. Next question. Why did Moses run away from Egypt? Moses ran away from Egypt because Pharaoh wanted to kill him. At the age of 40, Moses saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave, and in an effort to help, he struck the Egyptian so hard that he died. Moses tried to hide what he had done, but when Pharaoh found out, he sought to take Moses' life. To escape, Moses fled to the land of Midian, where Jehovah continued to care for him. Let's move on to the next question. What does this teach us about Jehovah? This account teaches us that Jehovah is always aware of his people's suffering and acts at the right time to care for them. Even when the Israelites were harshly oppressed in Egypt, Jehovah did not abandon them. He protected Moses as a baby, arranged for him to be raised safely, and later guided him when he fled to Midian. Jehovah's actions show that he can use even difficult circumstances to carry out his purpose, and that he never forgets those who are loyal to him. Next question. What practical lessons can we learn? We learn the importance of making faithful choices, just like Moses did. Although he grew up with wealth and power in Pharaoh's house, Moses chose to identify with Jehovah's people and serve him. This reminds us that true success does not come from fame or riches, but from doing what pleases God. We also learn that Jehovah can protect and guide us even in difficult or dangerous situations. Just as he cared for Moses as a baby, and later in Midian, he can take care of us when we put our trust in him. Finally, the example of Moses encourages us to be courageous and stand up for what is right, even when it is not easy or popular.